The Great Hall of the Galactic Council was silent. Ambassador Kung Ho stood alone in the center of the massive room. Above him, hundreds of alien eyes stared down from floating platforms. Their judgment was already made. He could see it in their cold, strange faces. "Humans," said Council Leader Thexanara, her voice echoing through the chamber. The tall blue-skinned Valari looked down at Kyung Ko with disgust. "You are too violent, too dangerous, too unpredictable for civilized space." Kyung Ho kept his face calm, but his hands were tight fists at his sides. "We have followed all galactic laws. We have traded fairly. We have kept peace with all species. Peace." The Zephyrian military commander, Valthus, laughed. His reptilian face twisted into what might have been a smile. "Your species fights each other constantly. You turn your own world into a weapon testing ground. You are born killers. We defend ourselves." Kung Ho said. His voice was steady, but anger burned in his chest. "We protect what matters to us. Exactly our point," Thexanara replied. "You cannot be trusted. The council has made its decision." In the observation area above, Dr. Hannah pressed her face against the glass barrier. She had spent 20 years studying human biology. She knew things about her own species that these aliens could never understand. She wanted to scream at them, to tell them they were making a terrible mistake, but her voice could not reach the council floor. "The human colonies will be relocated," Thexanara announced. "All of them. Every human settlement in galactic space must be evacuated." Where? Kyung Ho demanded. "Where do you plan to send 8 billion people?" Valthus stood up on his platform. His yellow eyes gleamed with cruel pleasure. "Cathera Prime, Sector 7G, a world suitable for your nature." Kung Ho had never heard of Cathera Prime, but the way Valthus said the name made his blood run cold. "What kind of world?" "A death world," said another council member. This one was from the Aquarian delegation, her fish-like head bobbing as she spoke. "Gravity 3 times your Earth normal. Atmosphere that will burn your lungs. Storms that can melt metal. Predators that have evolved beyond your worst nightmares." "You cannot be serious," Kung Ho said. "That is not exile. That is execution." "It is justice," Thexanara said firmly. "Your species evolved on a death world. You should feel at home on another one." Dr. Hannah felt sick. She knew about Earth's history. She knew how humans had survived ice ages, plagues, wars, and disasters that would have destroyed other species. But Cathara Prime sounded worse than anything Earth had ever thrown at them. Captain Day One sat in the visitor section, listening to every word. He commanded the human defense fleet. 300 ships. Good ships, but not enough to fight the entire galaxy. He had been ordered to stay quiet, to let diplomacy work. But diplomacy was failing. When Kyung Ho asked, immediately Valthus replied, "Transport ships are already on their way to your colonies. You have 30 standard days to gather your people and leave civilized space forever." "This is madness," Kyung Ho said. "Humans have contributed to galactic science, art, and culture. You have spread violence wherever you go." Thexanara cut him off. "Your contributions are weapons, technology, and military tactics. The galaxy will be safer without you." Engineer Minna watched from her seat near the back. Her mind was already working. She thought about the transport ships coming to collect them. Standard galactic designs, built for civilized worlds with normal gravity and breathable air. They would need modifications, heavy modifications. "What about our homes?" Kung Ho asked. "Our cities, our history, will remain," said the Centauri, representative, as a reminder of why dangerous species must be controlled. Kung Ho looked up at the hundreds of alien faces surrounding him. Some looked pleased, others looked uncomfortable but said nothing. None of them spoke up for humanity. "You are making a mistake," he said quietly. "The only mistake was allowing your species into galactic space in the first place." Thexanara replied. "Guards, escort the human ambassador out." 2 large, armored aliens moved toward Kung Ho. He raised his hand to stop them. "I can walk myself." As he moved toward the exit, Kyung Ho spoke one last time. His voice carried clearly through the silent chamber. "When we survive your death world, remember this day. Remember that you created your own enemies." "Survive?" Valthus laughed again. "Nothing survives on Cathera Prime for more than a few months. The planet itself will finish what we started." Kyung Ho left the chamber without another word. In the observation area, Dr. Hannah was already making plans. She thought about human adaptability, about the way humans changed to fit their environment, about the way they turned problems into advantages. The aliens saw humans as violent and dangerous. They were not completely wrong, but they had no idea what humans were really capable of. Captain Daewon met Kung Ho outside the council chamber. "Orders, sir. Prepare the fleet for evacuation duty," Kung Ho said. "Get me everything you can find about Cathara Prime. Every scan, every probe report, every piece of data in the galactic archives. And if they try to stop us from gathering information," Kung Ho smiled grimly, "they want us gone. They will give us anything that helps speed up our departure." 3 hours later, the human delegation sat in their temporary quarters, studying data about their new home. The more they learned, the worse it looked. Gravity, 2.8 times Earth normal, Dr. Hannah read from her tablet. Atmosphere is 60%. Nitrogen, 30% oxygen, 10% trace gases including sulfur compounds and acid vapor. Breathable, but barely, said Captain Day 1. Temperature ranges from -40 to +60 degrees Celsius, Mina continued. Frequent electromagnetic storms, seismic activity, and the wildlife, ... Double quotes, she showed them images from probe data. Creatures that looked like nightmares. Six-legged predators the size of Earth elephants. Flying things with acid spit. Plant life. That seemed designed to kill anything that came near it. How long do they expect us to last? Asked Dr. Hannah. They do not, Kung Ho replied. This is a slow execution. They send us to this world. We die, and they can tell themselves they gave us a chance. Maybe, said Minna, quietly. Or maybe they just gave us the greatest opportunity in human history. The others looked at her in surprise. Think about it, she continued. A whole planet. No aliens watching over us. No rules except the ones we make. No one to tell us what we can or cannot build. Mina, Captain Day 1 said gently. It is a death world. So was Earth, she replied. For billions of years, until humans learned to master it. This is different, Dr. Hannah protested. Is it? Mina asked. Or is it just the next step? Outside their window, they could see the first transport ships arriving. Massive vessels designed to carry entire populations across the galaxy. Soon, those ships would be filled with every human in known space. 8 billion people, heading toward a world that was supposed to kill them all. Kung-Ho stood up and walked to the window. In the distance, he could see Earth. Small and blue and beautiful. The world that had made humans what they were. The world they might never see again. Send a message to all human colonies, he said. Tell them to prepare for evacuation. And tell them something else. What? Asked Captain Day 1. Tell them we are going home. 2 years had passed since the transport ships arrived at Kithara Prime Colony. Administrator Woojin stood on the observation deck of New Haven, looking out at what had once been an empty cliff face. Now it was home to 3 million humans. The city carved into the black rock was beautiful in its own harsh way. Lights twinkled in windows cut deep into the stone. Bridges connected different levels of the settlement. At the bottom, the heavy machinery hummed day and night, processing the planet's strange materials into things humans could use. Hard to believe, is it not? Said Dr. Hannah as she joined him at the window. They expected us to be dead within weeks. Woojin nodded. Instead, we built the largest human city in the galaxy. Not just built, Hannah said with a smile, thrived. She was right. When the transport ships had first landed on Kithara Prime, everything seemed hopeless. The gravity was crushing. The air burned their lungs. The ground shook constantly from earthquakes. Strange creatures howled in the distance. Sounds that made hardened soldiers nervous. But humans adapted. They always adapted. Show me the morning reports, Woojin said. Hannah pulled up her tablet. Agricultural domes are producing 20% more food than last month. The new air scrubbers are working perfectly. Crime is down. Birth rate is up. We now have 15,000 babies born on Kithara Prime. True Kitharians, Woojin said proudly. Those children were already stronger than their parents. The heavy gravity was making their bones denser, their muscles more powerful. In a generation or two, they would be like nothing the galaxy had ever seen. And the mining operations, he asked. Beyond our best projections, Soyoung's team discovered 3 new metal alloys last week, materials that only form under extreme pressure and heat. The foundries cannot keep up with demand from the other colonies. There were now 23 human settlements across Kithara Prime, each one specialized in different survival techniques. Some focused on agriculture, growing food in the hostile soil. Others mined the incredibly strong metals that formed in the planet's core. Still others hunted the dangerous creatures that roamed the surface. Where is Jinwoo today? Woojin asked. Leading another hunt for the 6 legs, Hannah replied. The big predators that used to terrify our first scouting teams. Woojin remembered those early days. The 6-legged creatures stood 3 meters tall and could run faster than any Earth animal. Their teeth could bite through steel. Their claws could tear apart a vehicle. The first hunting parties that encountered them came back shaking with fear. That was before Jinwoo developed new hunting techniques. Now, those same creatures provided protein for the entire colony. Their hide made excellent armor. Their bones, when properly treated, were stronger than most metals. What had once been humanity's greatest threat on Kithara Prime was now just another resource to be managed. Communications, Woojin asked. Taehoon has been monitoring galactic channels, Hannah said. The aliens still think we are dead. No one has tried to contact us. No one has sent scouts to check on us. Good. Let them think that for now. Woojin walked through the corridors of New Haven's government section. Every surface was covered with a thin layer of processed Kitharian crystal. The material absorbed the planet's harsh radiation and converted it into usable energy. What had been another obstacle to survival had become their power source. He took an elevator down to the foundry levels. The elevator was fast, but it still took 5 minutes to reach the bottom. New Haven went deep into the planet's crust, where the pressure and heat would have killed any other species. Humans had learned to live there. Engineer Mina met him. At the foundry entrance, she was dirty from working with molten metals, but her eyes were bright with excitement. "You have to see this," she said, leading him to a testing chamber. In the center of the room sat a block of metal the size of a desk. It looked ordinary, like gray steel. But Wujin knew better. Everything on Kythera Prime was more than it appeared. "This is our latest alloy," Mina explained. "We call it Kytherine steel. It forms only under the pressure conditions found 3 kilometers below the surface." She picked up a hammer and swung it hard at the metal block. The hammer bounced off without leaving even a scratch. Then she showed him test results on her tablet. "It is 10 times stronger than the best military armor in galactic space, heat-resistant up to 3,000 degrees, radiation-resistant, and we can produce it in unlimited quantities." Wujin whistled softly. "What about weapons?" "Already working on it. Biorum has been designing new plasma systems using Kytherian crystals. Early tests show they can punch through any known shielding. And Starships, the first prototype is being assembled in Shipyard 7. Captain Day 1 is overseeing the project personally." Wujin felt a warm pride in his chest. The aliens had sent humans to die on this world. Instead, they had accidentally given them the most advanced military-industrial complex in the galaxy. "Any word from the other colonies?" he asked. "New Sol is perfecting their atmospheric processors. They can now create breathable air from the planet's natural gases. New Busan has mastered the storm prediction systems. They can tell us when the electromagnetic tempests are coming 3 days in advance. And New Incheon, She paused, grinning. New Incheon has tamed the flyers." Wujin's eyes widened. The flying creatures of Kythera Prime were massive, winged beasts with acid breath and razor-sharp talons. They had killed dozens of humans in the early days. Tamed them? How? Turns out they are highly intelligent, almost like Earth dolphins. Once we figured out how to communicate with them, they became willing partners. Now we have an air force. They walked through the foundry, watching workers pour glowing metal into molds. These people had been accountants, teachers, shop owners back in civilized space. Now they were forging weapons and armor that could challenge the entire galaxy. "How many people do we have working in weapons production?" Wujin asked. "About 500,000 across all colonies. But remember, everyone here is weapons production. In a way, our farmers grow food that can feed soldiers. Our miners extract materials that become armor. Our teachers train children who will be stronger than any alien warrior." They reached the main assembly floor. Here, human workers operated massive machines that processed raw Kytherian materials. The noise was incredible, but Wujin could see the pride on every face. These people were not just surviving, they were building something new. "Sir," said a voice behind them. They turned to see Taehoon hurrying across the floor, his communications equipment strapped to his back. "What is it?" Wujin asked. "Long-range sensors have detected movement in the outer system. Ships, alien design." Wujin felt his heart race. "How many?" "Just one. Small vessel, probably a scout." Mina and Hannah exchanged glances. They had always known this day would come. The aliens would eventually wonder what happened to the humans they had exiled. How long until they reached the planet? Wujin asked. 2 days, maybe 3. Wujin smiled. 2 years ago, that news would have terrified him. Now, it felt like an opportunity. "Contact all colony leaders," he ordered. "Tell them it is time for the next phase. And get me Admiral S." "What are your orders?" Sir Taehoon asked. "Let them come," Wujin said. "Let them see what their Deathworld has created." As they headed back to the government levels, Wujin thought about the alien scout ship approaching their planet. The crew probably expected to find empty settlements and human bones scattered by the wind. Instead, they would find something the galaxy had never seen before. A human civilization forged in conditions that would kill any other species. Stronger, tougher, and more dangerous than anything in known space. "They wanted to exile us to a death world," he said to himself. "They accidentally gave us a fortress." Reconnaissance, Captain Corvith checked his instruments again. Something was wrong with his ship's sensors. They were showing energy readings from Kythera Prime that made no sense. Science Officer Daelwyn, he called. "Are you seeing this?" Daelwyn floated over to his station, her tentacles dancing over the control panel. Like all Valari, she had 4 arms and could work multiple systems at once. "Captain, these readings cannot be correct. Show me what you are seeing." "Massive power generation, industrial activity, signs of orbital construction," and she paused, her blue skin turning pale. "Ship movement, lots of it." Corvith felt cold. "That is impossible. Nothing can survive on Kythera Prime. The Council sent the humans there to die." "Sir, I am detecting at least 20 major settlements, population centers, and they are all active." Corvith stared at his main screen. Kythera Prime looked exactly as it had 2 years ago. a dark, stormy world wrapped in poisonous clouds. But now his sensors were telling him that millions of life forms moved on its surface. "Take us closer," he ordered. "I want visual confirmation." His crew of 6 was nervous. They had all heard stories about Cathera Prime, about the creatures that lived there, about the storms that could destroy starships. They were only supposed to take quick readings and leave. "Sir," said his pilot, "the electromagnetic interference is getting stronger. Our shields are having trouble compensating." "How are the humans dealing with it?" Dalwyn wondered out loud. That was a good question. The storms that made Cathera Prime so dangerous should have fried any technology the humans brought with them. Yet the energy readings were getting stronger as they approached the planet. "There," said Dalwyn, pointing at the main screen. "Settlement detected on the northern continent." Korvath looked where she was pointing. At first, he saw nothing but black cliffs and gray clouds. Then the clouds shifted, and he saw it. A city, carved into the mountainside. Lights twinkled in thousands of windows. Bridges connected different levels. And at the base, massive industrial complexes pumped smoke and steam into the already toxic atmosphere. "Impossible," he whispered. "Sir, there are more settlements. Many more. I count at least 15 major population centers on this continent alone." Korvath's hands shook as he reached for the communication system. He had to report this to the council immediately, but first he needed more information. "Take us over the largest settlement," he ordered, as their ship moved through Cathera Prime's upper atmosphere. The interference got worse. Their shields flickered and sparked. Warning alarms began to sound. "Sir, we need to leave," his pilot said urgently. "The hull is starting to overheat." "Just a few more minutes," Korvath insisted. On the surface of Cathera Prime, Defense Coordinator Una tracked the alien scout ship with interest. The vessel was small and lightly armed, probably just a reconnaissance mission to confirm that the humans were all dead. "Should we shoot it down?" asked her assistant. "No," Una replied. "Let them see what they need to see. Then let them go home and tell their masters." Admiral Sung-ho had given clear orders. The first alien visitors should be allowed to escape. Their reports would bring more aliens to investigate. And when the larger forces arrived, humanity would be ready. "However," Una added, "let them know we are watching." She activated the planetary defense grid. Suddenly, targeting systems locked onto the alien scout ship. Weapon platforms hidden in the mountains swiveled to track the vessel. The aliens would see dozens of missile systems and energy cannons all pointed directly at them. On the scout ship, every alarm started screaming at once. "We are being targeted." Dalwyn shouted, "Multiple weapons systems have locked onto us." "Where are they coming from?" Korvath demanded. "Everywhere. The mountains, the canyons, even the settlements themselves." "Sir, I count over 50 heavy weapons aimed at us." Korvath felt sweat dripping down his face. "Can you identify the technology?" "Unknown design, unknown power source." "Sir, these weapons are more advanced than anything in our database. Get us out of here. Maximum speed." The scout ship turned and accelerated away from Cathera Prime as fast as its engines could manage. Behind them, the targeting systems followed their movement until they left the planet's gravity well. Only then did the weapons finally turn away. "How long to reach council space?" Korvath asked. 3 days at maximum warp," his pilot replied. "Send a priority message ahead. Emergency council session. Tell them." He paused, trying to find words for what he had seen. "Tell them the humans are not dead?" On Cathera Prime, Una smiled as she watched the alien ship disappear into space. Soon, the galaxy would know that humanity had survived. And then the real test would begin. She activated her communication system and sent a message to all human colonies. Phase 1 complete. Prepare for Phase 2. The emergency session of the Galactic Council was chaos. Council leader Dexanara tried to maintain order as dozens of alien representatives shouted questions and accusations. "Silence," she finally roared. "Captain Korvath will deliver his report." The Velari reconnaissance captain stood in the center of the chamber, his blue skin still pale from what he had witnessed. "Council members, the humans are not only alive on Cathera Prime, they are thriving." Angry voices filled the chamber. The Aquarian delegate, Mirkala, waved her fins in distress. "Impossible. Nothing can survive on that death world." "I saw it with my own eyes," Korvath replied. "Massive cities, industrial complexes, orbital platforms, and weapons. Advanced weapons pointing at my ship." General Voxai, the military advisor, laughed coldly. "A few crude settlements do not make a civilization. If the humans want to play at being dangerous, we will show them what real power looks like." At that moment, the main screen flickered to life. Ambassador Kung Ho appeared, transmitting from somewhere in space. But he looked different now, stronger. His clothes were made from materials the Council had never seen before. "Greetings, Council," he said calmly. "I represent the Cathera Federation, humanity's new government. You have no authority here." Dexanara snapped. "You were exiled, removed from civilized space." "Yes," Kung Ho agreed. "You sent us to die. Instead, you gave us freedom." freedom to build something new, something stronger than anything you can imagine. What do you want? Asked the Centauri, Representative Zixton. First, full recognition of Cathara Prime as a sovereign human world. Second, reparations for the forced exile of 8 billion people. Third, restoration of all human rights. In galactic space, General Voxai stood up on his platform. And if we refuse, Kyung-ho smiled. It was not a pleasant expression. Then you will learn why you should never exile a species to a world that makes them stronger. Threats? Voxai laughed. From a handful of survivors on a death world, I will send the Third Fleet to finish what nature failed to accomplish. Please do, Kyung-ho replied. We have been waiting for this opportunity. The transmission ended, leaving the council in stunned silence. How many ships in the Third Fleet? Thexanara asked quietly. 500 warships, Voxai replied. The largest battle fleet in galactic space. More than enough to deal with whatever crude weapons the humans have managed to build. Send them, she ordered. End this embarrassment once and for all. On Cathara Prime, Fleet Admiral Dongmin received the intelligence report about the incoming alien fleet. 500 ships. Impressive, by galactic standards, but the aliens had no idea what they were flying into. How long until they arrive? He asked strategic analyst Yoonji. 12 days. She replied, their fleet will exit hyperspace at the edge of our system and approach in standard battle formation. Perfect. That gives us time to position our forces. Dongmin activated the fleet communication system. All captains. This is Admiral Dongmin. Operation Freedom begins in 12 days. Prepare your crews. Across Cathara Prime, humans made final preparations for battle. Weapons engineer Bioram checked the new plasma cannon systems one last time. Pilot Commander Jae-sung briefed his fighter squadrons on attack patterns designed specifically to counter alien fleet tactics. Chief Engineer Minna stood in the main shipyard, watching the final work on humanity's secret project. Ships built entirely from Catharian materials, armor that could withstand any weapon in galactic space, engines that could operate in conditions that would destroy alien vessels. Are you ready? Admiral Sung-ho asked as he joined her. We have been ready for 2 years, she replied. The question is, are they ready for us? Admiral Voxai's Third Fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Cathara system. 500 warships spread out in perfect formation. Battleships, cruisers, destroyers, and support vessels. The largest military force ever assembled. In this part of the galaxy, scan the system, Voxai ordered from his flagship's bridge. I want to know what we are facing. His sensor officer worked quickly. Sir, detecting multiple artificial structures throughout the system. Orbital platforms, mining stations, and ... ships. How many ships? Difficult to say. They appear to be hiding in the asteroid belts and around the gas giants' moons. Estimate 50 to 60 vessels. Voxai smiled. 50 ships against 500. This will be over quickly. He was wrong. Fighter Ace Hyanwoo led the first wave of human fighters as they emerged from hiding spots throughout the system. His squadron of 20 ships looked tiny compared to the massive alien fleet, but appearances could be deceiving. Remember, he said to his pilots over the radio, these ships were not built for Cathara Prime's gravity. Use that against them. The human fighters accelerated toward the alien fleet at incredible speed. They had trained in Cathara Prime's crushing gravity for 2 years. Now, in the low gravity of space, they moved like nothing the galaxy had ever seen. Sir, the alien sensor officer said urgently, the human fighters are moving too fast. Our targeting systems cannot lock onto them. Voxai frowned. How is that possible? His answer came in the form of plasma fire from weapons officer Naris' fighter. The blue-white beam cut through the shield of an alien destroyer like it was made of paper. The ship exploded in a ball of fire. What kind of weapons are those? Voxai demanded. Unknown design, his weapons officer replied. They appear to be using some form of enhanced plasma technology. More alien ships exploded as the human fighters swept through their formation. The aliens tried to return fire, but their weapons could not track the incredibly fast human vessels. Battle Coordinator Insu watched the engagement from the surface of Cathara Prime. The electromagnetic storms that made the planet so dangerous were now working in humanity's favor. The aliens' communication systems were being disrupted, making it impossible for them to coordinate their defense. Phase 2, she announced. Release the capital ships. Captain Sunmi commanded the flagship New Seoul as it emerged from behind Cathara Prime's largest moon. The ship was huge, built entirely from Catharian steel and powered by crystalline energy cores. Its armor was black as space and stronger than anything in known existence. All weapons, target the alien flagship, she ordered. The New Seoul's main cannon fired once. A beam of pure energy, powered by Cathara Prime's unique materials, struck Admiral Voxai's battleship directly. The alien vessel's shields collapsed. Instantly, its armor melted. The ship broke apart and died in silence. Impossible, Voxai whispered as his emergency systems failed around him. His last thought was that he had underestimated humans. Again, the battle lasted 6 hours. When it was over, the Third Fleet was space debris. A few alien ships managed to escape, but most were destroyed or captured. Human casualties were minimal. Rescue Commander G8 found Admiral Voxai's escape pod floating among the wreckage. The alien was unconscious but alive. Gitte brought him aboard his rescue ship and provided medical treatment. When Voxai woke up, he found himself in a clean, comfortable medical bay. Gitte sat beside his bed, reading from a tablet. "Why?" Voxai asked weakly. "Why did you save me?" Gitte looked up. "Because that is what humans do. We protect life, even when that life tried to destroy us. You could have killed us all." "Yes," Gitte agreed. "But then we would be the monsters you claimed we were." Voxai closed his eyes. "What happens now?" "Now you go home," Gitte replied. "You tell the galaxy what happened here. You tell them that humans are not the enemies they thought we were." 1 year later, President Wu Jin stood before the Reformed Galactic Assembly. The Great Chamber looked the same, but everything else had changed. Where once aliens had looked down at humans with contempt, now they watched with respect and fear. "Fellow beings," Wu Jin began, "we gather today, not as conquerors and conquered, but as partners in a new age of galactic civilization." In the audience, former council leader Vexenara sat quietly. She had been removed from power after the disaster at Cathara Prime. The Valari government had issued formal apologies to humanity and begged for peaceful relations. "1 year ago, you sent us to die on a world you feared to approach," Wu Jin continued. "You believed that Cathara Prime would be our grave. Instead, it became our forge." Trade Minister Subin presented the economic reports. Human technology was now in demand throughout the galaxy. Catharian steel was used to build ships that could survive in any environment. Human-designed life support systems allowed other species to colonize worlds they had never dreamed of settling. The Deathworld Development Initiative, announced, Ambassador Hannah, has identified 47 worlds previously considered uninhabitable. With human assistance, these worlds can support thriving colonies. Species that had been dismissed as too primitive for galactic society were now being re-evaluated. If humans could thrive on a death world, perhaps other species had hidden strengths as well. Admiral Sung-ho oversaw the Terran defense force from his command center on Cathara Prime. Human ships now patrolled the galaxy's most dangerous regions, protecting merchant vessels from pirates and rescuing crews from disasters. They had become the galaxy's protectors, not through conquest, but through demonstrated courage and capability. "Sir," his aide reported, "we have received a distress call from the Rigel system. Asteroid impact, threatening a civilian station. Dispatch the rescue fleet," Sung-ho ordered. Full speed. In her laboratory, Chief Engineer Minna worked with her granddaughter, Young Mi, on humanity's most ambitious project yet, deep space. Exploration vessels designed to travel beyond the galaxy itself. "The engines are tested and ready," Young Mi reported. She was 20 years old, born on Cathara Prime, and stronger than any human in history. "We can reach the Andromeda Galaxy in 50 years and the life support systems, designed to operate for a century without maintenance. We learned well from Cathara Prime," Mina smiled. The world that was meant to kill humanity had taught them to survive anywhere. Now they were ready to take that knowledge to the stars themselves. President Wu Jin concluded his address to the Galactic Assembly. "You intended to exile us to a world of death. Instead, you gave us a world that taught us how to truly live, how to adapt, how to overcome any challenge." He paused, looking out at the hundreds of alien faces watching him. "Cathara Prime was not our punishment. It was our graduation. And now, we are ready to help the galaxy learn the same lessons we learned on that beautiful, terrible world." As he spoke, Young Mi and her crew prepared to depart for the edge of known space. They would explore new galaxies, discover new worlds, and perhaps find new challenges that would make humanity even stronger. The Death World had done exactly what it was supposed to do. It had forged a species capable of surviving anything the universe could offer. The aliens had been right about one thing: humans were dangerous. They were dangerous to ignorance, to prejudice, to the belief that some challenges could not be overcome. They were dangerous to the idea that exile and punishment could destroy the human spirit. The final entry in the Cathara Prime colonial records read, "They sent us to die on a world they feared to even approach. We made it home." And from that home, humanity reached out to embrace the infinite possibilities of the universe itself.